Hello, hello, hello. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. By the way, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing the bell, and hitting the like button. Hopefully this one goes better and I don't hit any wrong buttons compared to the last one. So you get to see an actual chart. Uh, let's see. Slow and steady, but trend is up for now. We have people rooting for Tesla. We look at all these rooting for Tesla. Hey, waka waka. You want to see it close below 1,000? Okay. Well, be a nice pullback then. Right now, just most of the day was a nothing burger until the breakout at lunch and then the great rotation up at the end of the day, hitting the other side of the daily rotation zone, which is now flat. So essentially right now the trend is up. There's been no selling pressure. I mean, we have to keep watching for that selling pressure. There was definitely not really any today. You can see here. I mean, here's the shorter term charts from today. There was not a lot. There's just a little bit right off the open, a little downside momentum, but then nothing. Then nothing. That was the only selling pressure there was at all, and then it just abated. So again, bullish line in the sand, that 1054.22 area. Not getting above it till this after or this lunchtime breakout. By the way, I said I'd go over a play. If this wasn't lunchtime, this is a fantastic play. So you're coming up, retesting prior high area, and then just drifting sideways, letting the rotation zone catch up, and then you get the breakout. The confirmation is just this little close above that high area for a jump and a quick run up to the cluster. The first cluster was this 1065 area. So that was, I don't like it as much going into lunch because I hate lunchtime breakouts. But that is, remember this little play right in here. When you see this coming up, basing right at prior key high areas and then getting a little pause. Remember, sideways, just working off this slightly overbought correction. Then you get the blast off. Here was a really nice one. This was a really nice play. Remember how I shift to the 15-minute, especially, as we drag on, unless it's a stronger momentum day. So I'll jump between the 5 and the 15. We had this little, put this in the room too, we had this little mini double top pattern, and I clearly said, uh, to watch the second target of the double top. Why did I talk about that? Prior resistance highs, resistance highs. So resistance becoming support. You had a double target right there. And with that 15-minute, nice pullback into the 15-minute rotation zone, rotation back up. And these are, I talked about Discord, like if this bar is going to close green like in the last 20, 30 seconds, that's the aggressive buy, or you can just wait till the next bar opens and then that's your rotation entry. And then your next cluster, we had 1071.07 to 1071.34. Could not get a close above it and just pausing right there. So those are a couple plays you should be adding to your repertoire if you want to keep learning and growing in that way. Let's take off some of these levels now. Let's see what we can watch for tomorrow. What can we watch for tomorrow? First, bullish line in the sand above this 1067 area. Above 1067, I am in bullish mode. We got to keep going with the trend. Waka waka, let's see. We are in a wedge, I think. We hit top on the daily chart. I expect the rest of the week should be down. Okay, we shall see. We shall see. This little wedge pattern, I don't know. I don't know. The only way I see a lot of downs, the China numbers were a slight miss last night. That's the only bearish news right now that I see. If selling pressure comes in, you know, when we had selling pressure, we could see selling pressure again Thursday, Friday. What's tomorrow? Oh, I nearly forgot. What's tomorrow, everyone? What is tomorrow? What is tomorrow? What's the date? We better be prepared. It's 12/9. 12/9. Wait, I got to glance over it. 12, just a heads up. 12/9 tomorrow. Is something big going to happen? I'm just from a tech. I have no idea. I don't decipher the play the decipher everything. Elon tweets. I'm just going off of pure price action right now. Daily rotation zone has gone flat. We already hit the other side. Remember, I talked about 4-hour rotation zone, so we closed in it yesterday. Where do we hit today? Look at that. Remember, we had that 1071 cluster area and the other side of the rotation zone. Closed in it, watching for the other side. So those are essentially, we could roll over here still. It's flattening out, but this is sort of the last bastion right now. What I wouldn't want to see tomorrow is really the close below the 1-hour rotation zone. Then I'd start watching for a pullback. If we started closing below the 1-hour rotation zone, so even if we come down and close above the, I should say the bottom, even testing the top in the morning, 1057.67, retest here and rotation up, that's still holding as support bottom of the 1-hour rotation zone. So even on a sell-off in the morning, a brief sell-off, that's where I'd be watching. Don't want to see a close below the bottom of the rotation zone, sitting at 1050. Also that key psychological area right there. If we did do that, then I'd start watching for a retest of this 1030 to about 1026 area. And if we broke through there, I'm watching for the gap fill. That's the only way I'm getting in any bearish mode, if we start closing below the bottom of the 1-hour rotation zone. Other than that, I got to stick with the trend right now. We've already hit the major target on the daily, which was the rotation zone, which is flattened out, and the 4-hour rotation zone. But I'd need confirmation before saying it's going to rotate back down. My first confirmation would be a close below the daily, or below the 1-hour rotation zone. Otherwise, we still have shorter term basis. You know, we've just been grinding higher off that spike low down at 950. It's hard to believe we're already up over 100 points from there. This 1067, I'll be keying off of that first thing in the morning, because I'm going to be watching to see if we hold there. And then first warning shot, again, you can start watching for the pullback to the bottom of the 15-minute rotation zone. And if we can't sustain that and this little support ledge, then I'm keying off the 1-hour. Then I'll just be watching for a key pullback to 1-hour and see if we can get a nice rotation back up. Targets the upside. Targets to the upside. Right now, I'm just pretty much going off the above today's high, 1078.08 harmonic. Then this 1070, 1080, 377 to 1084 area. Little resistance shelf right there. And the harmonic then above there. Above there, I'm back to 1100. And the next little shelf is right here. But it's 1097 to 1100 is the next target to the upside. So that's about it. Let's see, what else? Could cause a reaction based off on it happens or not. Again, we're just going to have to trade the price action. So we already came up with a game plan. We came up with the bullish and bearish case. I can't get to bearish until we're closed below the 1-hour rotation zone. Waka Waka Friday's CPI for us. CPI data from Euro and UK. Bad inflation will set up selling pressure in US markets. We shall see. Again, I'm still with this kind of price action. I'm still going in unless we break back down below some key levels I outlined in the market overview. I got to stick with, again, short-term bullish mode through the end of the year unless we break some key technical patterns. Spent, uh, reloaded a bit in the portfolio today with this nice little pause. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on. It's now got to prove that this rally back to new highs is not sustainable to me. Otherwise, it's trading with this strong trend up. Uh, yeah, Elon said there's nothing on 12.9, but everybody, if he says there's nothing, it means there's something. I mean, this is why. Don't worry about it. I was just joking with what 12.9 is because you have all these channels focused on the gosh darn thing. Why don't we just learn to trade our price action? You start breaking down the morning, you get below this 1050 level. I outlined my exact game plan. You rotate up in the morning, we have our targets the upside. Whether news comes out or not, it doesn't matter. We have our trades both to the upside. And any trades on from these earlier in the week that's still long, you're just ratcheting up your stops. Okay, so if you do get a reversal, fine. You lock in your profits, you hit your stop, and then you're back to the sidelines until you find another entry. That's all it is. Don't confuse trading with predicting. It's fun to say, I think this is going to happen, I think this is going to happen. But at the end of the day, it's not about predicting. It's about trading the price action. And until it shows me something different, I got to go with the trend. Just like as we were going down, rotation zone going down, it's favoring the lower prices, especially when we broke some of these key levels. Then it was all right, watch for these retests of that 1,000, then that gap open. Then we held there, then we started getting more and more bullish price action. Then it was target the other side of the rotation zones. And now we're essentially back in the middle of this huge consolidation. We still have lower highs and lower lows. So it's still got some work to do on the upside, but the short-term trend is still up. So I got to still go with the short-term trend and keep raising stops. If the trend changes back to down, then we go with the downward trend and we take our profits off the table and we get stopped out on any trailing positions. And you should, at this point, be only getting stopped out at profitable trailing positions. I'd love to hear his thoughts on Kathy Wood of ARC 2. Did you by chance already review that key entry on the second target double bounce? Yeah. Yep. I already went through that. I already pulled off those levels too off the chart. You can go back, but this was the entry. This right here was the second entry you saw. I know you're in the Discord server, but this was the key entry back to the 15-minute rotation zone. That prior resistance here and here becoming support, rotation back up out of the 15-minute rotation zone with the targets being, we had the clusters at that 1071 area. So that was the great bread and butter trade this afternoon. And if you still have some of that on, the worst case is, you should have at least locked in something at 1071 area with that cluster. Gave you multiple times to lock something in, and then you can always trail the rest with a stop at break even. If it comes back down here, I wouldn't let that little 15-minute trade turn into a loser. First, as I said, what I like to watch for is, when there's about 20 seconds left in the candle. You can also, with your 5 minutes, coming back down, starting, you're starting to edge up, the candle's going to turn green, hit the entry there or hit it right off the open on the next candle. You're above the 15-minute rotation. So you don't have to wait for this next end of this next candle. That's too long because you're trying to get somewhere in here, right around in here, and then your stops. I mean, even if you went with a conservative stop below 1055, okay? I mean, the problem with that is it was a little far away based off the reward to risk, but easily you keep a stop below this 1058 level right below that bar's low. So if it comes off rolls over again, it's just a quick little, all right, that quick little turn up didn't work, because you don't really want to see it break down. You could try again, if you wanted to do a re-entry about 1054 if it pulled back there again, but you're not risking a lot. You're just saying, all right, this is a quick little rotation trade up. We've already broken above key levels. Now we're returning to test it, and we're leaning against that prior resistance becoming support, and we have still the upwards momentum. So that's why I really like that one. Then that's just, you can watch for those all the time. It's just a break of resistance becoming support with a key rotation zone, and that the double second target just made icing on the cake for that. All right, we got a double top. Watch that second target and look for your entry. All right, I'm not seeing much else. A little waning momentum at the end of the day. Let me just double check that 1 hour chart, making sure I'm not missing any. And that's not overbought. We're not overbought on the 1 hour. We're not overbought yet on the 4 hour. We're not overbought on the daily. So there is definitely upside still to run on this from my perspective. With that, I will call it a day. Let's see what's going to happen on 12/9, and I'll talk to everyone later. Bye for now.